Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. It's always a pleasure to share our life with you all. So, thank you so much. I hope everyone had a great hump day. My day was busy. Whew, I had a busy day, but it's a good thing. It's a good busy. So I hope everyone's week is going well. And it seemed like this week is going a little slow. Is that just me? Because it seemed like it should be Thursday. Like, why is it Wednesday? It should be Thursday. But anyway, the trials and tribulations of Tina's life, right? All right. So we have a great show ahead. We have a wonderful guest. And of course, I can't do the show without my fabulous co-host, Mr. Gerald Z. Anderson. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Lyfe is Right.
The Lyfe is Right.
I did that. Look how I did that.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm not gonna quit my day job.
Yes, please don't. That is singing. Only don't.
And I love to sing. But yes. So like I was saying, it seemed like this week is going slow, or is it just me? Like it seemed like it should be Thursday.
My week seems to be going pretty normal. It doesn't seem to be going slow. That's for sure.
Man, it seemed like it's just dragging to me. It seemed like, and maybe because I'm always go, and I'm doing so much, I barely remember what day it is. So who knows?
It's all that hot weather y'all got going on down there.
That too, and it's hot today. It's actually kind of cool out tonight, so I think it's going to be a nice night to kind of just sit out back and just have me a glass of wine and chill and decompress. And then get to go tomorrow. But yes, so we have a great show. Should we fill everyone in on B-ball?
Yeah.
I give you the honors.
Well, unfortunately, we had our basketball player lined up, but he has not been able to make it. So we'll reschedule him and have him at another day. So.
Yes. So what had happened was no. But yes, we can definitely try and reschedule him for sure. I was looking forward to that because this was because I think this is the first time we would have had a sports.
We haven't had a sports. Yeah, we haven't had a sports person before, so.
Right. And I kind of was interested in see how that dialogue and everything would go because I know nothing about sports.
Yeah, we know that.
Absolutely nothing. So
except when the Bucks win, you know how to jump up and down.
I know that. Yeah. I got all the gear for that, so I'm good. Got that on lock.
I saw this picture today, and it said a house divided, and then half was Miami Dolphins, the other half was the Tampa Bay Bucks. I said, we need that.
That's funny. That's funny.
Exactly what we need in this house.
That's interesting. That's hilarious. But yeah, so thank you everyone who's joining us, and of course, if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to send us a question or a comment in the chat box or in the notification. And with our fabulous guest, our only guest, but if you have any questions for him, feel free to indulge in that. He's a very interesting guy.
Very interesting.
We'll find out about this man. Oh, I was like we need to be better adults, Gerald, based off his resume. We need to do better. But yes, I'm excited about talking with him. So before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and get with Buff Patterson with the positive media moment. And unfortunately,
speaking of people who can't be here.
Yeah, speaking of, I didn't want to kind of, one is bad enough. Like now we got two.
We could throw Buff under the bus.
Yeah, that's true. But we have positive media moment with, of course, Buff Patterson. So here we
And
go.
plus, she's in Greece too. So
Oh yeah, that's.
we don't feel sorry for her.
I'm just, that's my girl.
Yeah, but we do have a video of Buff. She did
Yes.
send a video. She's such a trooper.
She is. Yeah. So here we
here's
go.
Positive media moment.
Hi, I'm Buff with Life's Positive Media Moment. Today I bring to you Granville Woods, born in 1856 in Ohio. He was the first Black electrical and mechanical engineer. He held over 50 patents. And some of these patents were the roller coaster, egg incubator, automatic brakes. And one of his most amazing inventions was a telegraph system that converted electrical ambient energy so that you can send messages between each rail car. He was a fierce competitor. He went up against Thomas Edison twice. And on his second win, Thomas Edison tried to hire him. But Granville stayed on his own. I want to give credit to Granville Woods for being an innovator, an icon, and what made America great. Thank you.
I tell you, she always has something that we never heard before,
And yeah, I mean, and again, I like her in person. I don't want her to record no more.
Well, she can't be here, so I need to.
I know. I'm gonna tell her about that.
She's international buff.
I know, right? International buff. Yeah, buzzer beater. International buzzer.
Yeah.
But yeah, she always brings someone new, like never heard of. And, I love that part about what she does, which is excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
absolutely.
So we're going to hit a commercial and then we're going to get to our first guest.
Well, not a commercial. We got the poetry moment now.
Poetry. That's what I meant. Not commercial. Poetry. Yeah. That's what I meant to say.
With our summer cover, Randy Norman.
Yes, I love her.
Yeah. So here's Mannequins by Randy Norman.
Yes.
Standing like mannequins in a window, dressed to display the latest fashion, the thing that's fit for royalty, that's set aside for the best and brightest, made from the finest linen, sewn by hand, one of a kind, put on display. Do they see you?
Girl, you doing that.
Or do they see the garment? Do they see the tailor's work? Do they see each stitch that was specifically placed with a purpose in mind?
I hope so.
On display for all to see as they walk by and glare, wondering who you are, why you get to stand before the people on display.
I don't know.
Why you get to pose in splendor with light shining down, showing every perfect imperfection. Couture is what they call it. Unique by request and by design. Chosen you to wear the garments of praise, to wear the clothes of righteousness. Not for you, but for him to be seen and marveled and reveled and stood in awe. The clothes, the praise, the righteousness only catches their eyes. His essence captures their hearts. Allow his essence to flow over you and fill you till you're no more.
None of me, God.
All of him, more of him. Only him. Be the light. Wear the garment. Be the mannequin that will wear him. And only him. Standing. On display. In the window. For all
Can I come stand with
the
you?
world
Work, girl.
to see.
I want to be over there too. Let's go.
She's so talented.
She is very talented. I did not know Renata was in that video.
Yeah, I was like, look at Renata.
Yeah. I didn't know Renata was in that video.
Shocked me too. I was like, huh? Yes, yeah. She is so talented. I love her.
Yeah,
I
but they do go to
absolutely
the
love
same church though. So
Yeah. hmm But
Yeah.
she's definitely a talent, and she has that gift. Love it, love it, love it. So
all
mannequin.
right, mannequin.
Yes. All right.
All
So up
right.
next,
Oh.
which guest should we bring on first?
Well, again, we want to say for all those people tuning in for Austin Carr, we will not have Austin Carr on tonight, it looks like. But we do have a very, very, very talented, multi-talented. So Mr. Roderick Von King has a long career as an aerospace engineer, holding a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering and a master's degree in computer science. That's impressive, all just by itself.
Yeah.
So Mr. King is also a published songwriter and owns a record label, production company, and a music publishing company. Again, by
maybe he can produce my music.
Yeah, no, don't go there. He's now entered the realm of book publishing with his new book, Why Didn't We Fall in Love? And he has another book coming out this coming Friday that he'll tell us about. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet Mr. Roderick Von King.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How you doing?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
You look exhausted just from Gerald reading your bio.
I just appreciate you guys having me on, so I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here. So,
hey, before I'd like to make a comment if you don't mind. I believe you guys had on your show before, you had Felton Pilot from Confunction, right?
Yep, we sure did. He was also on the cover of our magazine too.
Right, I remember that. I'm from Vallejo as well, from the same hometown as Felton.
Okay, yeah, he was good.
Talked about all my music stuff that I did, right? So basically, everything that I did musically, Felton was pretty much involved with. He either produced or co-produced pretty much everything I ever did. And then Wanda Vaughn from The Emotions, her and her sisters sang background on a lot of the stuff that I've done as well. So I pretty much had Felton Pilot and Wanda Vaughn involved in pretty much everything musically that I did.
All right, awesome. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
great
guy.
Yeah, that's cool. So you got that Confunction connection going.
Exactly.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, I know you just told.
Like I said, I'm from Vallejo, California. Grew up there. I was actually born in Austin, Texas, but I only lived there for 2 months. And my father, who had got transferred from Texas to Travis Air Force Base, moved out ahead of the family. And then they said once I was old enough to travel, which was 2 months old, I understand, I moved to Vallejo, California when I was 2 months old, but actually was born in Austin, Texas. So I grew up and was raised in the Bay Area, Vallejo, California. Went to college at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. And then once I graduated from Loyola, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Then I went into the aerospace field, started my career at Rockwell International, and then moved over to a company called Litton Guidance and Control Systems. And then from there, I went to a company called TRW. And then TRW got bought out by Northrop Grumman. So I finished my career with Northrop Grumman, but because Northrop Grumman bought TRW, I was able to include all of my time with Northrop Grumman that got merged into from TRW time got merged in with the Northrop Grumman time. So that was really beneficial for me to be able to have all of that time considered for retirement and those kinds of things.
Oh, great. Cool.
So I did basically 44 years as an aerospace engineer.
I was stationed at Travis Air Force Base.
Is it where?
I was stationed at Travis Air Force.
Okay, well, then you know something about Fairfield and Vallejo then?
Oh, yeah. I do. I do. That was my first base, my first assignment. So.
Okay. Yeah, then
Yeah.
I ended up finishing up my career at McCullen Air Force Base in
In
Sacramento, where
Sacramento.
they
Yeah.
ended up closing McCullen, and they made it into an industrial park.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Northrop Grumman had a facility there on the old um, McCullen Air Force Base campus.
Right. I was at Mather.
Okay, you know about Sacramento too.
Yeah, right across town from you. I was at Mather
Yeah.
Airport. Yeah, I was there. I was there when they closed Mather.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mather and
So,
McClellan, they closed about
huh?
the same. Mather McClellan closed
Yeah,
about the
Matthew
same.
McCullough about the same time. And see, in the base that I was working out of was Norton in San Bernardino.
Right.
So they closed Norton, they closed McCullen, they closed San Antonio at Kelly, and they moved
Mm,
all those workloads up to Hill Air Force Base in Utah. So I got
mm,
moved from San Bernardino to Hill, and people from McCullen came to Hill, people from Kelly came to Hill. So we
mm.
actually had a pretty good black population in Utah because all these workloads got transitioned to Hill Air Force Base in Utah. So that
Oh,
made my time in Utah very enjoyable.
okay. All right. Yeah. So I love California. So
Yeah, I love it myself.
So what
So
made you get, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, because I'm just so interested in from, aerospace to author. Like,
Right.
where did that transition happen
Oh,
and why?
okay. So how that transition happened is that when I was in the fourth grade, I started
Hmm.
playing music. So I was in the band, elementary school band, then junior high school band, and then I played all the way up through 4 years of college as well. And then you talk about me being from Vallejo, and we talked about Confunction, right? Well, there was
Hmm.
another gentleman in the band Confunction who was the original keyboard player by the name of Danny Thomas. So Danny Thomas lived about a block and a half away from me up the street. So Danny and I became friends when we was kids. And just to show you how far back we go, I saw Danny hit his first home run in Little League. I was at the game when Danny hit his first home run in Little League. That's how far back we go.
Wow.
But we were in band together in elementary school, junior high school, and then I went on and played 4 years in college. I played band in 4 years in college. So my cousin, who's a gentleman by the name of Gordon D. Whitty, who since has passed, but Gordon was a blind keyboard player and producer. And in the early 1970s, Gordon was like the B3 organ session player in Los Angeles. And then there's a guy by the name of Richard T, who was the B3 organ session player in New York. So Gordon and Richard T dominated the organ sessions in the early 1970s. Well, Gordon ended up playing with Rufus and Shaka Khan, and they did he did the Sweet Things. So that's Gordon playing keyboard on Sweet Things.
mm,
So I was around Gordon. He played with Bobby Womack, Sly Stone, Earth, Wind and Fire, Johnny Nash, and all of these different types of groups. And so because Gordon was sightless, then I was always with Gordon. So he used to hang out at Sly Stone's studio when Sly moved from Northern California to Southern California when he changed Epic record labels from Epic basically over to Warner Brothers. He did a project in Los Angeles, and he had a studio in Santa Monica. Well, I basically used to go to the studio in Santa Monica pretty much every day after work and hang out. So I learned how to songwrite being around Gordon, Sly, Bobby Womack, and those kind of people. So that's how I actually learned how to write. So I started writing songs back in that time frame, and then from writing songs, transitioning to a book wasn't hard because I already was and a lyricist was one of the main things that I did in terms of
mm,
writing the songs. So this particular book, the Why Didn't We Love book, which is this book
Hmm.
right here, you see that title, Why Didn't We Love? That
Hmm.
was the song was written by a friend of mine by the name of Oliver Davis. And just to keep the connection going, before Felton got into the band that became Confunction, okay, they had a band called Project Soul, and then Felton came from his band into Project Soul, and then that band became Confunction. Well, Oliver Davis was in that band that Felton had prior to Felton leaving, going to Project Soul. So Oliver and I go back to 10 years old playing Little League Baseball together.
Oh,
Mm.
So
wow.
we go back. So we all come up from that area. And so Oliver wrote this song, Why Didn't We Love? So a friend of mine's wife, who I was working with at one of my engineering jobs, um, asked me to write a book because she said I was a good storyteller. Because I would always tell them about these stories with Gordon and Sly and Bobby Womack and all these different things I'm doing. Because I can't take anybody with me because Gordon is sightless, and so I can't bring other people with me into those environments. But I would always tell the stories, and she said, "I love the stories that you tell. So why don't you just write a book?" I'm challenging you to write a book. So I said, "Well, what am
You
I going
got
to
a
write
lot of
for?"
stories, I can tell.
So I said, what am I going to write? So I ended up going to a seminar up at UCLA one day, and John Grisham was the keynote speaker. And John Grisham had asked the audience, did we know what his books and movies were about? And then somebody answered and said law. He said, correct. He says, why do you think that is? And then somebody else said, because you're a lawyer. He said, right. He says, so write what you know.
Right.
So I said, okay, that's interesting. Write what you know. So since the song Why Didn't We Love, which I love the song that Oliver had written, I loved it. So I just said, you know what, I want to do that because that talks about that relationship status of always having somebody that you didn't get a chance to be with. You wanted to be with them, but certain things happened and you really didn't get a chance to pull the trigger and, and be with that person. So I went around and did some interviews and talked to different people and asked them about that kind of thing. And they said, man, that's my story. That's my story. So it's
Mm.
like, man, I wish I would have been with Linda. I wish I would have been with Charles. I wish such and such and such. And I said, okay, this is more universal than what I thought.
Right.
So, and then as I thought about it, I said, well, I got one of them kind of stories myself. So I ended up using that. And that's why the book is a fictional story, but it's based on things that happen and things that you would normally see. So I started in college and said, okay, well, I'll start with college and go through that. Then the heroine, I said, well, I'm going to make him an engineer because every time I see sports stars, lawyers, musicians, I said, this heroine gonna be an aerospace engineer because I know something about that.
Yeah. Right. What you know.
Right, what you know. So that's why I did that. But then I started bringing in little vignettes of things. The National Brotherhood of Skiers. I don't know if any of you ever heard of that
I
organization.
have
You
not.
have not?
I have not.
Okay. They started in 1973 and they're still going now. And they changed the S from skiers to snow sports now. So it's National Brotherhood of Snow Sports. But what it
Oh,
was is an organization, or is rather, an organization with a mission statement to help a black person get to the Olympics. That was basically
oh,
what their mission statement was about.
oh,
So I
wow.
ended up joining that organization. I didn't join until 1994 when I moved to Utah because I didn't even know about it. Even I was in LA, and that's where it
Mm.
started.
Mm.
So I didn't even know that. So I wanted to make sure that other people were aware of it, and so I did a little vignette and had a story. Kept the storyline going, but just brought that particular vignette into it. And then I brought in other things like that, so that I would just take the course of life
Mhm.
and run the course of life through a fictitious story
Mm.
based on the lyrics of Oliver's song, Why Didn't We Love? You know,
Right.
and that's how I got, to that particular storyline. And then so being church is a fabric of the black community. So I brought church into that
Mm.
and talked about how the individual went from you know his life coming up as a kid, going through college, going through family life, and then finally getting to the point where church became a major influence in his life, getting saved and going through all that. So that brings that into it, and then there was the issue that I dealt with when I was coming up over speaking in tongues. So I brought that issue into the book
Mm.
Mm.
and had that all in the storyline,
Right.
and just
Right.
kept, but it's life. It's just life. It's just the things that you would
Yeah.
experience, going
Mm.
to the 10-year high school reunion, going to cruises, and doing different kinds of things, having friends that die early. in life. You know, I had the opportunity to experience a guy that I went to college with that we used to play basketball together, and he died while we was in college. And so I
Mm.
was able to bring those feelings in because a lot of people have experienced that.
Right.
So I just took the real experiences and put it into a fabricated story.
Right.
So that's basically and based on my friend Oliver Davis's song "Why Didn't We Love."
Right.
So now that leads me into the new book that I did,
Hmm.
and um,
You mean there's more?
yeah. So this song, the book "Why Didn't We Love" is based on a song, right? So then I
Mhm.
started working on a book called "Last Night in Trinidad," and my wife is from Trinidad, so I've gone to Trinidad probably 5, 6 different times, going to Trinidad Carnival, and it was a really great experience. And then I really got heavily involved in the soca music, so I started writing soca music. So I wrote a song. One of the songs that I wrote, actually, Danny Thomas and myself. We almost stuff that I say I wrote. Danny Thomas and myself wrote them together, and we did this song called "Last Night in Trinidad." And so I wrote the story around "Last Night in Trinidad," and then I was starting to put the book together. But then I was at a seminar, an online seminar with through the LA Tribune, and a lot of people that I was listening to. As a matter of fact, one other thing I want to say about this book here is that I did win the International Impact Book Award for Best Romance Novel.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
so I
Wow.
want to make sure I mention that. NIM
Yeah,
Stamp and
let's
her
not forget
organization.
that.
Yeah, let's not forget that, huh? And so, hold up one second. Hold up one second.
Oh, wait, there's more. He's gonna get another book.
No. I'm gonna get the trophy just to show you.
I just messing with you. Oh,
So this is my
nice.
trophy that I won.
Yes.
All
I
So
right.
love it.
so I won the
Good.
International Impact Book Award for Best Romance Novel. And so and some of the people that I met at the gala that I went to last year were from the LA Tribune. And one of the young ladies invited me to an online seminar, and they had speakers talking. And I remember May 1st through the May 8th was the time frame. And on this particular day, May 5th, I was online, and a lot of the people that I had met at the International Impact Book Award were speaking at this engagement. And one of the things that I noticed is that they all had books in the nonfiction space, and the books were selling and doing well. And I'm saying, I need something in the nonfiction space. And so the Holy Spirit gave me this title called Altar Call, an honest depiction of a path to salvation.
Oh,
So, and then I looked at it and said, okay, Why Didn't We Love? That's based on a song, based on Oliver's song. Last Night in Trinidad, I'm working on that. That's based on a song I wrote. Altar Call, that's the song that I wrote. I wrote a song called Altar Call. So
Mhm.
I think my hook now is that all my books are going to be titles of songs that I wrote or were involved in. So that's
Right.
kind of what
I
that's
think
what
you're good with
I'm now narrowing my hook to that now. And
Okay.
so and then the altar call has a little bit of story behind it. There's a guy by the name of Anthony Williams who was when I was in Vallejo before I moved to Fairfax, I had a studio in my house. And Anthony Williams, he was a rapper. He used to come over, him and his son, and they would come over and record at my studio. Matter of fact, Felton came over and recorded at my studio. Matter of fact, he brought Lenny Williams over and recorded at my studio uh, at that point in time. So
Mhm.
when I left and moved out here, Anthony had come to DC with his wife, who was in politics, and she was at the White House doing something. And so Anthony put on Facebook that he was in DC. So I hit him back on DC, had hit him back on Facebook, say, hey man, if you're still here, I'll take you to lunch. And he said, hey, I'm still here. So I went and picked him up from his hotel, took him to lunch, and then I was telling him about the song Altar Call that I had written. I'd written Altar Call really initially in 1992. And then there was a guy by the name of Michael Nelson that I produced when I got to Vallejo in the 2007, 2010 timeframe. So I actually came to Vallejo in 2007, but I ended up producing Michael Nelson in around 2010. So I told Mike, I said, if we're going to do this project, I have to do this song called Altar Call. If you're willing to do that, I'll produce the project. So Mike agreed. We did the project. And so I was telling Anthony how disappointed I was that I thought altar call was going to do a lot better than what it did. Because when I got saved, they played Tomorrow by the Winans. Not that that wasn't a great song, but I was just saying, how come there's no song called altar call?
Right.
So that's what made me decide to write one. So then here I'm thinking this is gonna be a big record, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I got this involved in working and putting this project together. And it didn't with Carla, it didn't come out to be what I thought it was gonna be. Then when I recut it with Mike, it didn't turn out to what I thought it was gonna be. And so I was quite disappointed. And then Anthony said, well, Vaughn, it's not over yet. And this was in 2023. December 2023. He said, Vaughn, it's not over yet. So I'm saying, okay. So we had this song we used to sing in church called Our Latter Will Be Greater Than Our Past. So I remember that and I said, okay, that's what Anthony's telling me. So it's something gonna still happen. And then here on May the 5th, Holy Spirit gave me the title, Altar Call, an honest depiction of a path to salvation.
Yeah.
So what that book actually is my personal contribution to the Great Commission. That's really what that book is. Because I had a problem witnessing to people. That's one of the things you're supposed to do the Great Commission. But going out and witnessing, I just had a problem with it. I didn't really like doing that. And so back at the time when I first got saved, I asked and prayed, could I just write Christian music and do it in that form? But going out knocking on doors and talking to people on the street corner, I didn't like that.
Right. Right.
So then here I get this this title, Altar Call and Honesty Picture of a Path to Salvation, and then the Holy Spirit tells me that this is my personal contribution to the Great Commission. So then I just started coming up with the chapters, which I got later that evening as I prayed about it. And the chapters came to me, and basically it was all the things that I always wanted to know, but never found out. So I just did the research on it. Like I got a chapter in there about evolution versus creation. Nobody ever told me about evolution versus creation. Never got taught in Bible study, never got taught in church, never got taught in school. I knew what Darwin's theory of his theory, survival of the fittest and all of that. I knew what that was, but I never really understood that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of different things like that I wanted to address. So I just said, well, maybe other people haven't, maybe want to know about some of this stuff too. So I just ended up doing research on a lot of different topics and putting it out there, and as the path that I went through, all the things that I went through to get to that point.
Yeah. So let's back up a second because you said about the witnessing part, and that's this is your way of witnessing. It's funny because it's like the third time this week that this kind of topic has come up. Or
Really?
in this, on Sunday, a sax player was at church and he was playing, and one of the things he talked about was people competing against other people and your talent. Everybody's given a talent, and you don't have to compete against other people because God has called you and given you a talent, and with your talent you're supposed to use your talent to meet the people that he wants you to meet, and give a message to. And his way of giving a message is through his saxophone playing music.
Right.
But he has if he sat on his gift and didn't use his gift, he wouldn't get the message out to those people he was assigned to give it to.
Right.
But so he's basically saying, use your talent, and you have people that you're going to meet and you're going to witness to. So it's not about knocking on doors all the time. It's about using the talent that God has given you to get the message out that you're supposed to get out to the people that you're supposed to get it out to.
Right. So, and I just said, so that was just amazing to me and how fast this book came together. So I put Last Night in Trinidad on hold so that I can do this book.
Exactly.
So I stopped work on Last Night in Trinidad altogether so that I can work on this. And from May the 5th till now, I've been working on this book nonstop, day and night.
All right. Yeah. And that's the way it happens sometimes. As you know, I'm a published author too. I started many a book, and stopped and started working on another book. So
Okay.
you just
Okay.
never know where that path is going to lead you to. So
And
yeah.
then and here's another interesting point. Talking about I'm doing songwriting. So one of the things that I asked, back when I first got saved was like, can I just write Christian music and do it in that fashion, right?
Mhm.
So one of the pet peeves I had when I was coming up, learning about God, as a young kid, and then they was telling me that you're supposed to praise God and praise God, and so I always had an issue with like, well, why God created the world and created everything? Why he want me to praise him? Why he need me to do that? You know what I mean? So I used to always say to myself, do God got an ego trip or something? Is that he want us to praise him like that? I talked to another friend of mine. He said, Vaughn, I had that same thought. I said, really? I thought that was just me, that had that. But then here I was now as I grow and mature in the spirit. Now, the same guy who I told you just made that statement, which was me, worked
Mhm.
with Michael Nelson, and we wrote a song called To Praise You.
Right. All right.
And
So
then just
that
to go full circle on it, I hired Felton Pilot to do the horns for that song. So Felton arranged the horns for that
okay.
particular song.
Yeah. So Desiree has a question for you. Says
Okay,
I have
that's right.
I have a question for my client Vaughn. How does it
Uh-huh.
feel to share your gift with so many people?
It actually feels good. And one of the things that happened, I guess, let me back up a little bit. There's another friend of mine by the name of Wayne Vaughn. Wayne Vaughn is married to Wanda from The Emotions, the lead singer from The Emotions, Wanda, who I told you always worked with me. And I've been friends with
Mhm.
Wayne since the 80s, basically, late 70s, early 80s. And Wayne asked me a question when I did my first book. We would always go to lunch together when I go to LA to go up to the fish market. Wayne and I would always go every time I come to LA. We go to lunch together. And when I pushed my book out, he says, "How does it feel to be the talent?" And it was like, and that comment struck me because I'm always behind the scenes. I had the record label or the songwriting production company or songwriting and, doing the projects, paying for the projects, but never have been the artist ever in my life on anything.
Right.
And that struck me. So that's kind of how what Desiree is saying. It's like, it is amazing to be in that role now.
Mhm.
It took me a while to gather myself to really realize that I'm an out front guy when I was
Right.
always a behind the scenes guy. And I
Right.
had another friend of mine who I used to write with by the name of William Zimmerman. And William Zimmerman, he wrote the song "You're Number One" in my book for Gladys Knight. So when William and I used to write together back when we in the early 80s and stuff. And he came over to my studio one time. He was playing with Eric Darius and they were at Napa. So that's about 12 miles from Vallejo. So after the concert, he came over to the studio. And I'm sitting in there playing, I'm arranging, I'm writing, I'm engineering. And he just stopped and looked at me. I said, what is wrong with you? He said, "You always used to just to sit on the couch and write checks. And here you are, an active participant, playing, writing, engineering." So it was just amazing how far that has come. But it has
Mhm.
been really an interesting scenario for me to actually
Yeah.
be in that role.
So let me ask you this: you wrote your first book was a fictional story.
Correct.
Your new book coming out is a nonfiction. So how did it feel going from fiction to nonfiction?
Um, well, like I used to tell my mother, I said, the one thing I like about writing is you get to lie. She say it's called fictionalized, baby. I say, well, when you writing nonfiction, you can't lie.
You can't lie. Yep. Yeah, nonfiction, you get to make up your own world. You can do whatever you want to with it.
Exactly. Nonfiction,
I mean, not nonfiction, fiction. You get to make up your own world. You get to make up your own world.
yeah. So that's the major difference in it for me, really.
Yeah, because most of mine is fictional stories, and I have
Uh-huh.
I have one nonfiction book. And you're right, you have to like, oh, okay, I got to make sure this is exactly right, because it's,
Right, exactly.
but with the fictional story, it's my world. I can do what I want to do.
Right, exactly. And it was different. It was different. But I put a lot of myself into this because it's about me. It's about my journey.
Right.
So I put a lot of my stuff in there and tried to weave it so that it remained interesting, you know.
Okay.
So it remained interesting and weave, things in and out and try to string the story along so that you can follow it, you know.
Right.
So
So
with
so
oh, go ahead.
go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Joe. So with
So,
all of what you do, wait, what did you was you giving me the cue to go or what?
go ahead.
So based off everything that you do as far as educationally, author and aerospace and all that, it's like, who is Roderick King? What ingredients makes you up? Who are you? We know what you do career wise, we know what you do for others, but who are you?
I'm a guy. So one of the things about me happened when I was really young, and I actually talk about it in the new book, in the Altar Call book. Um, but one thing who I am is that that I'm always gonna do what I say I'm gonna do. That's one of the things that people know me by. Well, if Von said he gonna do it, it's gonna get done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, and I talk about how that came about, and that came about at a very early age, and I talk about the how that came about in the Art to Call book. I talk about how that happened, but that's
Okay.
that's one of the things of who I am, is that
Mm-hmm.
I do what I say I'm gonna do. So
Excellent.
that's
I
one of
love
the
that.
things about me.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I'm always and I'm a really good friend to the people who I'm friends with. And that's another thing that people always say. They say, man, Vaughn is a good friend and he'll do this and he'll do that for you. And I got a couple of friends of mine that are in San Jose. All of us are good friends. We all grew up together. But those guys, they don't see each other until I come to town. They live like 10 minutes from each other, but they don't see each other on a regular basis until I come to town.
Right.
Mm,
And then we all get
That's
together.
a good
So
thing.
so I'm kind of like the catalyst
Hmm.
to get a lot of things done, you know,
Okay.
and for us to get together, family, even family reunions and things
Hmm.
like that, So I'm always very family oriented and very friend oriented and always like to do uh exciting things, keep
Hmm.
doing stuff versus just being bored and hanging out, but always trying to do something. And one of the things that I was told by another couple of friends of ours when I was coming up, they say, you always make everything an event. You know what I mean? Like I remember we were going to see the new, I think it was the new Batman movie when the Batman movie first came out. And we ended up going to Universal Studios where they had the real butter on the popcorn. You know what I mean? And doing all that and got the babysitter set up and doing that. She said, you made it an event. And then we got
Hmm.
the t-shirts and stuff all like that.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, you
But it's
really made
like,
it an event.
they said, we was just going to the movies. He said, I have never went to the movies and had the movies become an event. So we had the t-shirts. We going to the theater that I got the real butter on the popcorn. And I
Real
mean, that
butter,
was
Roger,
important to
really?
me.
yeah.
That was important to me. To me, like my college roommate, that comes from him. Michael Banner, that's my college roommate. And Michael and I are still like best friends right today. You know what I mean? From when we was 18 years old. And Mike had worked for this clothing store when he was in high school and all through college. And the guy that owned the store, High Brown, had always told Mike, it don't really cost that much more to go first class, you
Mm.
know. And so Mike showed me that. And so I'm just saying, well, why not? Why would we not go first class and do it the best we can do it, as opposed to just, doing it a regular way? So that's what I said. If I'm going to invest the time and energy to go and do this, let's make it the best event that we can experience at this point in time. So
Okay.
that's kind of the way that I live my life, doing it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and tell us like a fun fact about you. Like we know, again, we know everything you do. We know, things that you indulged in. Just like a little fun fact, you know.
Fun fact for me,
Uh-huh.
I am a Negro League hobbyist.
Mm,
I
okay.
have a very extensive Negro League baseball card and bobblehead collection.
Okay. Okay.
Can see you in the baseball. Because
I actually have bobblehead baseball things because I collect them. So that's funny.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I connect Negro League, and I got a lot of
Ah,
the Negro League memorabilia, but not so much. I have some clothes, but more bobbleheads and cards. And I got like the 1924 team, was one of the best teams that was ever assembled. I got the all the bobbleheads from what was considered by it was a magazine that was in the New York Times back in the early 2000s. My college roommate, Michael Banner, who I talked about, he went back to the U.S. Open that particular year, which was in the early 2000s. And there was a newspaper that had this insert about the top 9 players of Negro League baseball history of all time. So he got
that's
that and
pretty
sent that
awesome.
to me. And so I collected all of those bobbleheads and cards of those players. So it's all the stars that I have and continue to collect. Matter of fact, I got one that's supposed to be coming this November by the guy by the name of Artie Wilson. I've been trying to find a bobblehead on Artie Wilson for 10 years.
That
And they
is so
finally
cool.
made
I
one.
love
And they
that.
finally made one. And so I bought it and I contacted I bought it this summer in July. And I said, hey, I haven't received my bobblehead yet. And they sent me a message back the other day saying it won't be coming in until November. So that's a fun fact about me, about
okay.
the Negro League collection. And Willie Mays, too. Willie Mays was my favorite player. So I got an extensive Willie Mays collection of memorabilia.
Okay. So this book is coming out on Friday. So where can people follow you to make sure they get a copy and a signed copy? I know people want signed copies, but
Right. So, okay. So the signed copy, what I'll do is I have a website that I created where you can go in and do pre-released. You can buy the book in a pre-release status, but you still could buy it through the same website, and it'll come to me, and then I'll autograph it and send it out. So that's
okay.
on my website now, but it's on my phone, so I don't remember it off the top of my head. But I can
Okay.
send it to you right after this. Right after this.
Okay.
And it's on my Facebook page, so people can go to my Facebook page and see all of that information.
And your on your Facebook page is Roderick King or
Just Von King, just VON Von King. Yeah, Von is my middle name, and that's what I didn't know my name was Roderick until I went to kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
And they said Roderick
If you
Von
don't have
King.
stories, wow.
I said, well, Roderick,
I love it. I love it.
who is that? And then after that point in time, whenever I heard the word Roderick come out my mama's house, out my mama's mouth, that means I was getting a whooping. And if she said Roderick Von, then I was really finna get it. But yeah,
okay.
but I've been Von all my life.
Okay.
We
All right.
definitely appreciate it.
We appreciate you joining us tonight. Your
Absolutely.
Desiree just sent me the website, so I am pasting it
Okay, fantastic.
there. So now,
Yeah, you definitely. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I paste it on there for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Hey.
And Gerald, contact me so we can get to go have lunch together one day.
All right, we'll do.
Yeah, because he don't have no other friends. So.
All right, we'll connect. We'll connect.
Thank you so much, Mr. King. Thank you so much.
And thank
Great
you for having
story.
me.
Yes,
All
it's a pleasure.
Have a good evening.
Okay, you do the
All
same
right.
All right.
Well, that was very interesting. He has a lot of story, very interesting story. He needs to write books about that. All of his stories, because it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Well, we do have Austin Carr here. That's in the green room. So let's bring him on stage so we can talk to him for a little bit.
Yes, Austin Carr is in his car.
He's in his car, yeah. He can't hear you,
Is that why you couldn't make it here? He's stuck in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see. Hopefully, you can get the sound going.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I'm glad he's joining us. And thank you everyone for your questions and comments and so forth. I have one of my foster kids in the chat. Love you.
Can you say something? Can you say something? Yeah, we still can't hear you. I thought I heard something for a second there.
Yeah, I thought I did too.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Yeah, we still can't hear you. No.
All right. Well, that was Mr. Carr, everyone.
Yeah. So maybe we'll try. Let's hang around.
Yeah, he'll try and resurface. But yeah, that was a very interesting story there. Many interesting stories. He does so much and have done so much. So I think that's pretty awesome.
I guess I had forgotten he was right there in Virginia though. So
yeah. Now you have a friend. I mean, because you have none. So you might
have plenty. Plenty.
But yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
We all just feel forsaken now since I got married.
That's the only friend you need is your wife. But yeah, so we're gonna see it.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, I don't call anybody anymore. They probably
you have priorities. Wife come first, God, and then your wife, then your job. But your wife come after God. So you doing it right.
All right. Let's see.
All right. I think he's trying to join again.
No video this time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Desiree is still on or not, but I need to get her to answer the question. I sent her a text.
Oh, okay. So do you want to we're not going to do a commercial. So we did Randy already because I was going to say why Mr. Carr is trying to join us.
We have another commercial.
A few more minutes. Yeah, so maybe let's do a commercial and then we can come back and see if Mr. Carr is back with us or joined us.
All righty.
Okay.
Introducing a new YouTube series, Dawn's on Top of the World. Everywhere that I go, I gotta let the world know it's just me and my phone. Hey. Dawn fam, about to make you move, bro. Turn it up. Got to let the world know. Everybody and my mama on the track, yo. Dylan Dawn, pass it to my twin, bro. Call me DJ, got him cracking up. Yeah, they can't catch me, I'm too fly. What? Blown up like I knew we would. Won't try music, Dawn fam, all good. Used to be the only girl, now it's me and Vicky. We gon' hold it down. Can you feel me? How we do every day of the week. Me and my family rolling deep.
Now this is what I mean when I rhyme to survive with these logs and these skits and these beats. How we grind. You can catch us online. Won't you like and subscribe? Welcome to our world. It's the Dawn's on Top, right?
Everywhere that I go, I gotta let the world know it's just me and my phone. Everywhere that I go, I gotta let the world know it's just me and my phone.
I love those kids. I absolutely love those kids.
Well, we're gonna have to just.
I don't want to babysit or nothing, but I do love those kids.
We'll just reschedule Austin Carr.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Are you talking to me? I didn't hear you say.
You look frozen. That's like,
was I frozen?
No, you look frozen. You just sat there.
No, I was like. So you said we're gonna reschedule.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, we can do that.
All
Yeah, because I
righty.
think since he did attempt to join us, so which is good. So I think that'll be good.
All right.
And I can call it an early night. As long as I don't get no pop-up guests tonight. I mean, people just be wanting to pop up at my house. I don't understand this. Hopefully we in the clear tonight.
Okay.
And I can sleep.
Well, good night, everyone. On that note, good night, everyone.
I tell you, good night. Ciao.